Good morning, Rick. How you doing, man?
Good morning, Keith. How are you today? You look bright and cheerful.
Oh, thank you, man. I love seeing like the map behind you because it makes me smile for a couple of reasons. One of which is that you are a world traveler, and two, I've done some traveling, and I will be doing more with you,
Mm.
especially being rooted in nature, man. So it just makes me smile. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Makes me smile too. That's why I keep it up there.
Exactly.
It's a big world. There's lots of places to go, lots of mistakes to make, lots of failure to anticipate, and all of it's just fine.
Yeah, we did a podcast before on like what does travel had what is meant for you. So I want to kind of do a little twist on that today, if you're open to it. And what I'd like you to us both to kind of talk about is the kind of person that you were before you start traveling, and what it's opened up for you in terms of your, your journey to be your best, to grow, spiritually with more peace and acceptance. How does it contribute to that? So the title of this podcast is uh, "How Travel Helps You on Your Path."
Okay. Well, travel, there's a lot of different ways to look at travel. I mean, just sitting in your chair at home, reading a good book is a kind of traveling too. I mean, it doesn't have to be something
Mhm.
lavish or extravagant. Travel is as easy as going somewhere different in your mind. I think the key to travel, like I think the key to most situations in life, is just being open minded and deflecting our own judgment about what's happening in that moment. The great thing about travel is that if you have lots of lots of opinions about the way things should be and they're not that way, you're going to have a horrible time. If you let all that go and you have no expectations and you try to just enjoy the moment, even though that moment may be completely not what you're looking for, I think that openness and that vulnerability makes you a better person, and it makes you a hell of a lot more fun to be with. There's a lot of times I've been traveling where I've had a little setback or something, and you can use that to either kind of smile and figure out, okay, how am I going to get around this? Or you can just stamp your feet and throw a tantrum, which is what a lot of people on the road do when they get stuck in travel. I mean, you're kind of working without a net, and that's the joy of the travel. It's the idea that you're putting yourself in a circumstance that's not life threatening, but it's just inconvenient. Travel is very inconvenient. So you develop a callus toward things going wrong, and you develop a way of handling them that I think is healthy. A quick example, I know I've told you this before. I didn't know anything about India the first time I went. Well, I knew enough I knew the culture, I knew the history, I knew some of the holidays, but I didn't know that when I landed in September in Mumbai, that Diwali, which is the Festival of Light, equivalent to the 4th of July in the States, was going on. And I didn't have, typical of me, I always buy a one-way ticket and then show up and kind of figure out what I'm going to do. So I got to Mumbai in the airport, and I got a taxiwala to take me to the gate. I wanted to see the Sea of Arabia gate, and he dropped me off. And after I paid him, before I left, I asked him where I could stay, and he said, "Good luck, brother, because this is Diwali. You won't find a place." So he was right. I ended up with my little backpack walking around Mumbai for 8-9 hours, and I didn't have any place to stay, so I just went to the beach and just laid down on the beach and fell asleep, and then woke up when the dawn came. Most beautiful sunrise I've ever seen. That's just an example. Now, it could have gotten rolled. I could have, in fact, when I woke up, there's a bunch of kids pulling on my backpack and trying to get some cash out, which, they're just kids. But anyway, yeah, there could have been a bad consequence for it. But the idea of being open to the possibility of something great happening, or not being irritated because you're put out, I think is so important in life.
Yeah, Rick, man, I love everything you said there from the very beginning about, the definition of travel, the concept of it, for some people, and certainly for me when I was younger, was that, it required a lot of money and I had to like go somewhere and, physically, be transported somewhere. And you just pointed out to, you can travel, through a book, and I did that as a kid. And it really took me from the environment that I was in and what I thought what I was experiencing at the time in that household, with my stepfather, who was, I've talked about it many times, who struggled and definitely wasn't a parent who was at their best for sure. But it was those books that took me to different places. I was there, and I'm grateful for those experiences. And when I think about those books, what I thought about most in terms of the benefits before you just said this, or they helped me become, a really good reader, to, and influence how I write and help me in that area. Also helped me with reading comprehension, just all the mental stuff, right? But what it did for me psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, I don't think I was present to that. Just like you said, it took me to places deep within myself, which I was able to really grow in those areas. And I didn't think about that. And I was also, with my definition of travel, my definition was limiting, that I had to go somewhere, and you don't have to go anywhere. And then the last thing, I made travel have to live up to this unrealistic standard, like I had done for most of my life, which was it had to be perfect. Flights on time. there had to be a hotel. There had to be lodging. I mean, if I was with you in India, man, oh my goodness, I hoped I was doing a practice at that time, because I mean, you were going with the flow, and I would have made an enemy of that situation. And I would have made an enemy of you for like, how can you not, like, how could you book our travel during this time of the year, Rick? I can't believe you did this. The blame would have been out of control, man. And now all of that's going away. When I travel now, whether it's in a book or whether I'm coming up to Sedona to see you or wherever I might be going, man, I am just at such peace. Flight cancel, okay. Reschedule, okay. I know reserved an aisle seat to the front. Okay, they got me in the middle seat in the back next to the bathroom. I accept that too. So all of that, man, has really helped it's helped me deepen my practice, and I've grown immeasurably from it. But so yeah, man, I'm a different person to travel with. My experience of travel is completely different, and I just see so much incredible goodness in it. So anything else you want to add, Rick, regarding travel?
Well, now that we're on the idea of travel, you guys were up here last weekend, and I was suggesting to our buddies and to you that what we ought to do, is if you got a 10-day a 10-day hole in your calendar, and you'd like to have some true adventure, then here's the way to do it. Pack one backpack. That's it. Not a 3-day monster pack, with the bedroll. No, just a little day pack, and put in one change of clothes, a shirt, pair of pants, whatever medical supplies you need, your toothbrush, toothpaste. So you've got a pack that weighs 10 pounds max, and you and take your credit cards and your ATM card, and we'll just go to Sky Harbor, and we'll sit around where the international flights leave, and we'll just look and see what looks interesting. So we just book a ticket right there. We buy it at the counter, book a ticket one way to some place that looks cool that we all would like to go to. So let's say Auckland shows up. Great. So we put the money down, get our ticket, hop in the plane, we go to Auckland. Istanbul shows up, we do that. And then we just arrive and see what happens. The idea is that that's really what happens when you're born, right?
Yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah. So you're just kind of creating this rebirth experience, and it's just so much fun. And you got 10 days. What's the worst that's going to happen, really? Unless you're going to do drugs, or you're going to do some illegal thing, or act out on the road, you're not going to have any problem. You're just as vulnerable to random acts of violence in the States, probably more so than you are if you're on the road. It's my opinion. And the idea is that it's symbolic. It's symbolic of what we do as humans. We're working through a path without any directions, without any kind of safety net without any kind of guarantees. Only this is just more specific, and it makes you feel so alive and so confident, and so it's so much fun. So anyway, 10 days, one-way ticket, Sky Harbor Lounge, you and the buddies, and we'll just head out somewhere, and then we'll have plenty of things to talk about on these podcasts.
Oh, absolutely, man. I love it, man. And, that kind of experience, can you imagine that if you are attached to the way things should be, or that things have got to be perfect, the kind of spiritual practice that could be for you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it could be an enjoyable experience, or it could be one in which you could really like deepen your practice, because when you mentioned that, I think I was the only guy who said, out of the 4 guys who said, that sounds great. Everyone was like, what? No, I can't do that. And these guys are on the path, man. And so, but I think it would just be awesome, man. And anything that allows me to really stand tall, against my mind and my ego about the way things should be, that, puts me, face to face with my biases, about people and my prejudices, even if some of them are, unconscious. Man, I'm all about that, because those things have to go, man. They just create distance between me and other people. It impacts my ability to see the humanity in others, and I don't want that in my life. And so, Rick, sign me up, man. I'm hoping we get 1 or 2 other people. So, Rick, I thank you, man. Thank you again for really helping me see travel in a bigger way, in a more beneficial way for my path. And you've done that for me. So thank you.
You're welcome. Well, let's do it. Let's get on the calendar and let's do it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I love you, Keith.
I love you too, Rick.
Adios.